Okay, I think we can get started. So let me share my screen and let's start the demo. Okay, you can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So this is a demo session for Informatica Intelligent Cloud Services. We have cloud data integration along with cloud application integration. So this is an overview about IICS. We are going to discuss about this, what is Informatica Cloud Data Integration all about. And this is in fact it is merged with IDMC uh, with a which is like single platform at the moment where these services are merged and they are rebranded to intelligent Informatica Intelligent Data Management Cloud, which is like IDMC. And we have the data integration, we have application integration, and we have different components of Informatica Cloud here. And we need to discuss about what is iPaaS solution. So what is an iPaaS? What would be the features of iPaaS? And we'll discuss about the architecture around Informatica Cloud. What is a runtime environment, secure agent, and how do we get started? So the first thing is like what is IICS? And IICS stands for Informatica in Cloud Services, which is an on-demand subscription service that would provide a complete platform for data integration, for cloud integration and data management. Okay, just give me a minute. Okay, sorry, I'm back. So Informatica Cloud is an on-demand subscription service that would provide you a complete platform for cloud integration and data management. And you can actually has an ability to create and configure different connections which are on-prem and cloud. We can create different users, and you can run your tasks, you can run your schedules, and you can even monitor your tasks. So there would be different components of Informatica Cloud, where we get to hear a lot about runtime environments, Informatica Cloud Secure Agent, org, and we have this connections. So what are these components? When we speak about different components, right? So we have components around runtime environments. So runtime environments are typically the inbuilt integration service. As in case of a power center, if someone are from power center background, you need a communicator or you need an integration service to run your jobs. So you have a runtime environment that is configured, and we also have a secure agent. So we'll discuss about it. What is secure agent? So just to give a quick comparison for from a power center standpoint, right? So I'll just give a quick comparison between power center and IICS. Okay, power center is something which is an on-prem Informatica data integration, which is a leading data integration tool, and IICS, like Informatica Cloud Intelligence Services. So what is Power Center? In Power Center, we have different components like mappings. Uh, Mappings. We have sessions. We have workflows. In IICS, we also have mappings here. Instead of sessions in IICS, we have task, or which is called mapping configuration task, called MCT short form. And instead of workflows, we can have task flows here. So anyone from Power Center background here?
Yes, it's
Anyone?
me. It's
Okay.
Minaki. It's from
Okay.
our center background. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So the basic functionality is derived from Power Center, wherein you would have this comparison because we would be having the set of transformations which are part of Power Center, but the components would be different in Informatica Cloud. Where you can run the standalone mapping. You can't run a mapping alone in Power Center, but you need a session for your mapping to run, and you need a workflow to execute, right? So in case of cloud, you can run a standalone mapping. You can run a task. You can run a task flow. There are independent tasks as well in IICS. So coming back to this, uh, IPaaS, right? We need to understand what is IPaaS solution. What is IPaaS? IPaaS stands for Integration Platform as a Service. Okay, it is a suite of services that would help you to do your development, execution, and governance of your integration flows, connecting any combination of on-premise and cloud-based processes. For example, if I want to integrate or if I want to load data from a flat file or from my on-prem database, can be an Oracle instance or a SQL Server instance, and I want to load the data into a different application. Let's say Salesforce. You want to load data into Snowflake, or you want to push data into an S3 bucket in AWS, right? You can do that with the help of a connector, and this is done across individual or across multiple organizations. So what is an org here? Okay, again, uh, there is a terminology in ISCs which is called organizations, or when we speak about a domain in Power Center, what is a domain? Domain is an administrative unit, right, where it would have different services configured, different nodes configured. It's an administrative unit where you have different services that are configured. Like you have a repository service, you have an integration service that is configured, and you also have different nodes attached to a grid. So nodes are typically your machines, that you configure your services to run. You need to have a repository created where you store your metadata. So typically a domain is an administrative unit. So similarly in IICS, we have something called organization, or in short, it is called org. What is an org? Org is something which would store uh, your organization details about your licenses, your services that you have configured as part of your enterprise license. I'll show you that when we go to the console. I'll explain it to you in detail. What is an org or an organization? And we have something called suborgs and a parent org. There are few things like suborg and parent org in ISAs. So the best part of ISAs is you can actually access it from any machine. You don't have to launch something like in case of a power center, right? You connect to a domain or you connect to a network and you launch your power center. You launch your repository manager or your designer or your workflow manager. You don't have to launch anything from your system. It's all web. It's like a machine. You access it from any machine with an internet access, and a web browser application is what you need. And they connect through a secure HTTP protocol. So it's a common platform, where you have the toggle switch visits. So there is a toggle switch. What is a toggle switch? You can actually toggle around different services. Like if you want to go to designer, you can go to designer. If you want to go to administrator, you can go to administrator. If you want to view the jobs that are running, you can go to the monitor. Okay, we'll see that in a moment. And we also have the centralized monitoring capabilities to track and progress the results of your jobs. And you have the pre-configured integration templates as part of recurring business use cases. So this is about IPaaS. Anyone has any questions on this before I move on to the next architecture? Any questions from anyone? Okay. So let me move on to the architecture, right? So this is my, this is how the architecture would look. So if you look at this architecture, right, you have a user who logs in to a machine. Okay, he would provide his credentials through a web client. He performs a design and administration. And there is a firewall. There is a firewall which is sitting behind an organization. There is something like a customer managed secure agent. You have a customer managed secure agent. Why do we need a customer managed secure agent? Because your data is secured. So when you actually access your data, or when you are loading your data to different targets or different applications, when you are reading and when you are writing the data, your data is secure. Only the metadata gets transmitted, or the metadata uh, gets stored in the multi-tenant repositories of Informatica Cloud. So there is something called multi-tenant repository, which is like AES encryption based repositories, which is based on microservices. So this is managed by Informatica vendor, the microservices architecture. So you are sending your metadata, or you are not sending your actual data. Your actual data is sitting behind the firewall of your organization. Okay, your on-premise data, something like your Oracle or your Flatfile or your SQL Server, your any application which is sitting behind your organization's firewall. Okay, understood? So Informatica Managed Secure Agent is something which is managed by Informatica vendor, but we are talking about a customer managed secure agent, which is also called local secure agent. A local secure agent is something which is within the firewall, which is sitting behind the firewall of an organization. And you can even connect to external apps like your business data using a Marketo connector, or let's say a Salesforce connector, or LinkedIn, or any apps using cloud applications. And they are happening, the connection is happening over the internet through a proxy, and we can even enable SAML, which is a single sign-on. Okay, SAML stands for Security Assertion Markup Language, right? So this is how the architecture would look, when a user logs in to a web client. He performs administration, design, functionality. He does the development, and he does even doing some kind of operational activities, and he would manage all this, and he would send the metadata to Informatica hosted multi-tenant repositories. Okay, is that clear? Any questions on the architecture? Anyone has any questions on this? Okay. So moving on, this is an extended version of the architecture. Again, you have an Informatica repository. So this is how the firewall, the red color brick that you see here is something which is like your it's like a gatekeeper, right? It holds your data, it stores your data, and it is protecting your data within your organization. So machine with internet browser, you perform design administration. This is how the UI would look, and you store the metadata into your Informatica Cloud repository. So this is an extended version. You have a company, you have a secure agent, a cloud-based applications and platforms. So to explain further on this, right? Let's say you have your local files or databases, right? Now, how do you talk to your database? How do you ensure that you establish a connection? Like you have connectors where you configure some connectors for your local files or for your database connectivity through Informatica Cloud Secure Agent. You access it from your browser, and you have this metadata, schema changes, or schedule information. Everything gets transmitted through HTTPS protocol. You have a business data. You perform your design and administration, and you can, for example, you want to store the data into Salesforce. You want to push from local files or database to Salesforce. You can do that. Okay, using this way, you can write your, you can run your task and ensure the data is being written to Salesforce. Okay. So any questions so far from anyone on this?
No, Arun, this is Pinaki. You said that means we can load the data from our local to the Salesforce via IICS, right? So how will do that? Means based on the connectors you are saying,
Yeah,
means we have
exactly. Based
connectors.
on connector. So I need to have a connector, for everything. Let's say if I want to read a file from a local machine, let's say I have a Flatpel, I need to have a Flatpel connection. If I have to write to a Salesforce, I need to have a Salesforce connector. So the connector is something which is playing a crucial role here to establish the connect relationship, or to ensure the data is being transmitted. So we need a connector.
Is this connection means is this connector is same as connection in Power Center, Arun?
Yeah, something similar like connection in Power Center, but we have additional options. Something similar like your connection in Power Center. See what happens in connection in Power Center is you may need to configure. Let's say you want to have an ODBC connector, right? You need to have some kind of ODBC files that need to be downloaded, or odbc.ini has to be configured within your server. But this is something coming as a pre-built. When you download the secure agent, it would download the necessary packages that are required, and the connector would be established automatically. Okay, I'll show you that when we go to the UI. Okay, I'll explain it to you when we go to the UI. See,
Sure. Thanks.
I'll just bring it up. For example, this is my cloud data integration free trial account, which I've configured. And if you look at this UI, right, I have the services listed as part of my free trial account. So this is where I'm saying, toggle switch, right? What is my toggle switch? I can just right click and open a new tab. I'm opening my administrator. I can even open my data integration. I have monitor also. I'm opening it in 3 different tabs. Okay. So for example, if I go to my administrator tab, right? Administrator tab, and if I want to look at the services or the runtime environments that I've configured, I'll tell you how do I get it. This is a free trial account for training, what I've configured, right? And if you look at my screen, right, there is something called runtime environments. Okay, runtime environments, and you see that I've configured a local secure agent group. Okay, there is a local secure agent group and local secure agent. So what is a group and what is a local secure agent? Is you know, group is like a grid concept. Where you configure a grid and you can add multiple agents to that group. So we see that these services are not running at the moment because I have been not working on this for 2 3 days. This is down, but I just have to, let's say if I have to ensure that I start the services, I can start it from my UI. So data integration service server is start. This is a service that I'm starting up, and I can click on refresh status to see my status. And if I want to, let's say if I want to, this is an error, right? I'm stopping that, and I'm also stopping the OI. What is that? Common integration components, right? So let's say if I want to stop this, I can stop this. You get a status as user stopped. If I want to start it again, I have to go to the respective service, data integration server, and click on start. So and similarly, common integration components, click on start. These are my services as part of my secure agent. So how did I configure my secure agent? I'll tell you that. So when you have to actually, sign up, right? When you sign up to a free trial account, typically what you do is you go to Informatica Cloud Data Integration free trial account, right? You just go there and you just click on free 30-day trial cloud data integration. This is for learning, right? Training environment. So you can provide your details here, right? Your details and you just provide your developer. For example, do not give any work email. Let's say you want to just give your Gmail ID. Do not check this box. Reason why I'm asking not to check this box is you can use the same mail ID after 30 days for a different username. For example, I have dev1 as username. after 30 days, this license gets expired. I can use the same mail ID again for a dev 2, a different username. Understood? But if you check this box, you can't use this mail again. That 30 days, once your 30 days is completed, you may have to use a different mail ID again. So let's say you want to give this details, just random something, and select your country. Okay, you just provide your details here and just randomly, you just provide North America. Just check these two boxes. Click on start your free trial. What happens is you get a mail trigger to your mail, Gmail, to activate your account. Okay, you get a mail from admin@informaticacloud.com to activate your free trial account. So, okay, welcome to the Informatica family. We are glad. So please activate your account and you get a URL and your username. So I get a URL and my username here. So when I get my username and URL, I log in and then I can download my secure agent. How do I download a secure agent? I need to go to runtime environments, click on download secure agent. You can select Windows 64, copy the install token and just click on download. Okay, got it? So when you download this, you need to configure it in your local machine, right? So I have configured it in my D drive. So in D drive, I created a folder called secure agent. So I provided this path. The default path would be C drive program files, but I have not given the default path. I've given the path of D drive. Understood? Is that clear? So my secure
Yes.
agent has to be up and running all the time to ensure that I have my connectors. See, my connectors, I have configured some connections, right? So I'll just show you how did I configure my connections. For example, I configured my flat file connection. So flat file connection is something where you actually create a connection to read and process your flat files, even to read and write, right? You need a connector. For anything, you need a connector for everything. So what did I give? I just provided my runtime environment and my directory where the files are located. I have a lot of files in my D drive, in my apps directory, data integration server, data, and I have a folder called training. In my training folder, I have a lot of files in this folder with which includes my source files with the different files like JSON files or list files or S3 files or Swagger files, XML files. I have different set of files here. So I provided this path, which is my base path for reading and for writing the files. Understood? And similarly for my Oracle instance, this is my Oracle 19c. I have my Oracle 19c installed on my laptop, right? So it's already open. Sorry. So I can create a schema. For example, in PySRC is my schema, right? In PySRC, if I want to access tables, I need to have a connection to my Oracle instance. How do I get my Oracle instance connection? Again, I would need the appropriate values to be configured. What values I need? I need my Oracle instance name, port number, and the service name, so that I can establish. It would talk to the Oracle instance and it would ensure this is being done. So I've given my username, password, host, port number, service name. So I can talk to my Oracle instance accordingly. So these are different tables that I can access from my local machine. And similarly, I can also configure a Salesforce connection. Okay, this is clear. Okay, so moving on, we have Informatica Cloud hosting facility, runtime environment, agent. Uh, so what are these things? These are something like I told you, right? Informatica Cloud hosting facility is something which is hosted in Informatica vendor location. It's not hosted at client location. And similarly for this is more about for an understanding what is runtime, what is an agent, what is Informatica Cloud Secure Agent, what is Informatica Cloud Hosted Agent. We need to have a license for it. Okay, to have a Informatica Cloud Hosted Agent. We have a local agent which you can download and configure. So typically in real time, you get an enterprise license from Informatica vendor, right? Your organization sales team would work with the Informatica team and they get the enterprise license. But in a free trial account, you can download it and you don't have to work on the licenses. You get what are part of the free trial account. Okay, is this clear? Have you understood this? Any questions? Hello? Any questions from anyone? Sorry.
Yeah, hi, Rohit. I'm just asking, like, what is the difference between these two? Because I know that it is hosted on the cloud itself, the Informatica cloud hosted in, but is this one is more secure? Like, is this was the difference?
No, no. See, both the local agent and Informatica Cloud Hosted Agent both are secured. It depends on the license, right? As this is an hosted agent. Hosted agent is your vendor is managing it. You're not managing it, right? Whereas your local secure agent is something a customer managed secure agent is your local agent, which you can configure in a Windows environment or Linux environment. There's no difference, but it depends on the license, right? The license and the cost that is involved. That's a separate cost for it. Okay. So you need a separate license for it to have. But typically, most of the clients they would go for a local secure agent or a customer managed secure agent. They don't want to go for the model of Informatica Cloud hosted agent. Okay, got it. So if I just move on now, this is how it is. On the extended model, the security model. How does it work? The security model would work on a data center infrastructure security with an IICS platform security standards that are being incorporated. And you also have a role-based access controls. What is a role-based access control? Like we have different roles in the organization, right? You have a single admin. You may be having multiple designers or developers. We may have multiple service consumer. Service consumers are typically the operator role, right? So someone for monitoring purpose. You may be working on production support, or you may be working on just monitoring your jobs. You may be working on development. But as an admin, let's say admin will be having super user access. He can do everything. He can configure the security. He can run the task. He can run the task flows. He can execute a process. We can have an API based executions. What is an API? I'll tell you about API, and you can even monitor job results. But a designer has some functionality where you can create the task flows, processes, API based executions, job results. But if I talk about a service consumer, you may be only limited to API based executions and monitoring the job results. So these are different identities mapped against different roles and different assets. Is this clear? So what you need to do is typically, if you have to sign up to a free trial account, you can go to the application integration. See, this is a training program uh, which is like 6 weeks training program. I'll tell you about the course content, what I would be covering in the 6 weeks. The first 4 weeks are going to be data integration. The next 2 weeks are going to be application integration. So we will begin with data integration and we'll continue with the application integration uh, once we complete data integration. So what we need to do, we need to perform the tasks, right? So before I go there, right, I also want to bring up something where, where you need some prerequisites. What are the prerequisites? I'll just bring it up that to you quick. Uh, what would be the prerequisites for learning IICS? You need to install Oracle 19c database, and I can give you this link to download your Oracle. And yeah, this link would help you to install your Oracle on your laptop. You can create a schema. I can provide you the sample schema. Okay, if you need all the tables, I can give you the schema. For flat files, I'll provide you the flat files. You need to sign up to a Salesforce account. You need to have good basic queries understanding, SQL queries understanding. It would be an added advantage for students with Power Center background, but not mandatory that you are coming from Power Center background. Even if you are starting up as a fresher, this is good to learn. And you can also have a free Snowflake account, and you also have a personal AWS account. This is for one specific scenario that I would cover. This is not in detail for Snowflake and AWS, for one scenario. Okay. Any questions on the prerequisites? I'll just copy this, put it in the chat. Anyone has any questions on this? Please drop your mail ID and contact numbers in the chat window. Yeah, I'm also putting up the prerequisites in the chat window here. Okay. Anyone has any questions on this? Okay. Moving on. Uh, so we need to ensure the organization is created, and we need to ensure the properties, the appropriate licenses, install secure agent. So if you look at this, secure agent now, this would be up and running at the moment, right? You just have to refresh this. Once you refresh it, you'll be finding everything is up and running. So as and when my secure agent is up and running, you would be seeing the green status here. Okay, then I can click on configuring anything. For example, if I have to create a job, right? So I can create a job. How do I create a job? The first thing what I need to do is I need to create a project, and then in that project I need to create a folder. Okay, the folder is, let's say my folder name is training in my project IICS November. Right? So I created some mappings here. So for example, I want to create something like a demo, right? For example, this is I want to load some data. I'm just opening the mapping that is already created, right? So I have a source and target component here. This is called a mapping canvas. The entire thing is called mapping canvas, where you have a source and target. So if I have to go to source, I need to maximize this, go to my source, and let's say I want to read a file called customercentral.txt. I can preview the data here. So this is going to show up my customer data, which is coming from my flat file. How did I get this? The help of a connection. Okay, I have configured a connection, right? So I have the data coming up here. And similarly, I'm loading it to my target. This is my target. What is my target? My target is let's say Oracle target. Okay, demo tgt underscore cust. Okay, for example, if I just do a select star from demo tgt underscore cust. So this is how I've loaded my customer data into my target. Let's say I'll just delete the data. Okay, so I just delete the data. Now let's say if I just go back to my mapping again, right? And I want to run this. How did I just I just did a deletion so that I can run it again. A simple thing, I just saved my mapping again. So source and target I configured. I can even have the different transformations, but this is a simple mapping that I'm running right now. So how do I run it? I can run it in two ways. Either I can have the standalone mapping to run, or I can create a task. Okay. So for example, I want to search with this mapping to see if I created a task. No, I don't have a task here. So I can create new mapping task and I can run the task so that if I do some changes to my mapping and if I come back to my task, if I want to run the task alone, I can run it. I don't have to refresh anything. This is automatically refreshed. You understood? Okay, this is my, I'm selecting my secure agent group, click on next, click on finish. So the mapping task is created. So we are good to run this. So I click on run. Okay. Sorry, can you wait louder? Hello?
Arun, getting dual voice from your background.
No, it's not me. Someone else is speaking. Siva Nagaraju, are you talking? Can you be a bit louder or can you come close to the mic? If you're talking, come close to the mic. I can't hear you.
Yeah, yeah, getting dual voice here from your background or someone else.
No, someone is speaking in the background, I guess. Same, not
Yeah,
from my side.
but everyone are in mute.
No, Siva Nagaraju is not on mute. I think he's talking. Fine then. I just wanted to run this. Let me show this. This is running right now. Okay. And we have processed. Okay, this is failed. Why is it failed? Let's see that. Okay, the name is already existing because I think I did not create it. Okay, we have created on runtime, right? This is, let's say I want to just create demo target cust one. The table is already existing. And here I've selected create new at runtime. That was the reason it failed because the target name is already existing. It failed. So I'm creating a new target now, which is demo underscore target cust one and save this. Okay, the same mapping. I just renamed the target object, go back to my mapping task, and I can run it again. Click on run. You can see the monitor and you can even look at your my jobs. If you go to your my jobs, you can see the jobs that you have run. So it'll go to queued status, start and running status. And you can click on the instance name to see the metadata, to see the statistics of your job run. Click on refresh to see this. So this would be loading some data into your target table from reading from that file. Okay, we have 2062 rows. You can just go back to the database instance again. This is this one, right? So we have 2062 rows loaded again. Okay, understood. So coming back to the course content, right? I'll just explain what would be covered in the course content for the first 4 weeks. And we also have cloud application integration here. So what is application integration? Let me cover that so that I can go back here. So there is a difference, right? In data integration and application integration. So we have data integration where, you can integrate, you transform and orchestrate your data warehouses for analytical workloads. So application integration is more on API, right? Where you perform an API execution. What is an API? Which is application programming interface. And it is data integration is more on the batch jobs. And application integration is more on real-time data between two or more applications. So there is something called synchronous and asynchronous, right? Where you work on the data, which is in a synchronous mode or asynchronous mode. So synchronous and asynchronous. Synchronous meaning, the change is happening at the very same time. Asynchronous is not at the same time. And you have, the combined and, analyze your static data and application integration where you see the data is changing in real time. For example, if you talk about a site called Amazon website, right? Amazon website, there may be thousands or lakhs of users would be logging onto an Amazon application or Amazon UI and doing a lot of purchases, right? They may be they may be doing a lot of transactions. So every second or every minute or every nanosecond, right? You get a lot of transactions being recorded every time. Whenever someone does a transaction, there is an update that is happening at Amazon, right? For the transaction to be completed and the order gets confirmed. So this is more where, the data is changing in real time, but you have a static data that is more at a batch job. Okay. So for example, you want to sync legacy on-prem ERP to CRMs, or you want to build automations between different applications, you use a application integration. So what would be typically covered in the course content is these ones, which are data integration, where we discuss about Oracle, Salesforce, Flatfile, secure agents, and some basic transformations like lookup, joiner, filter, and also advanced transformations. You're using like parser or transaction. We have sequence generator, connected lookup, unconnected lookup, parameterization. How does it parameterization would work here? And variables. We have parameters and variables, not like in Power Center, but something like similar, like you have your parameters and variables, expression macros and dynamic linking. What are expression macros will be covered. We have synchronization tasks, replication tasks, and we also have the task flows at different levels. Like, how do you work on linear task flows, or how do you work on parallel paths, different task flows. They have different templates and hierarchical connectivity. We have hierarchy transformations like hierarchy parser, hierarchy builder, web services, and REST API. How do you create mappings using REST API? REST API is, again, this is more at a real time where you want to retrieve the data uh, of your run. Let's say you want to retrieve the logs, activity logs. How do you invoke it from Postman? Once we complete all this, we'll move on to application integration, where we work on process, creating process, and creating guides, designing process objects, service connectors, app connectors, and we'll publish the metadata. How do you work on real-time data? Like I just covered the scenarios as given in this template. Okay. So any questions from anyone?
Yes, Arun, I do have one question.
Yeah. Tell me.
Can we load data from Oracle to MongoDB, that is RDBM, SQL to NoSQL DB using IICS?
MongoDB, again, it again all depends on the connectors. For example, I have to just see if I can have a free, like if I can have a connector. Let's say if the connection system is not listed with the MongoDB, then I click on new connection.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And let's say if I want to create MongoDB, right? So I have to see if the connections type is listed here. If it is not listed, what we can
Okay.
do is we can go to add-on connectors and we can search for Mongo. Okay, this is not covered in the free trial account. The MongoDB connector is not there. I think Amazon, sorry, it's not Amazon. It's actually Mongo is not connected. It's not given in the free trial account. It may be part of a enterprise license where you need separate connectors. For example, let's say Salesforce, right? Salesforce is license is available. I already have the license enabled. Let's say I want
But
Snowflake.
yes, but it is paid. It will be available, I think so, right?
Yeah, for a paid version, it would be available as part of your enterprise
Ah,
license. It would be available.
oh,
You can
okay.
still, yeah, you can do it. You can connect from Oracle to MongoDB if you have the connector.
Like
All it needs,
here we are loading data from Oracle to like Snowflake. Such a way we are loading Oracle to MongoDB. Same,
that's
right?
correct. That's correct. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
thank you. That's my
Yeah.
doubt.
Fine then. So any more questions on the course content? Are we good? You know, we are good to start from Monday, right? Monday, I'm planning to take the sessions from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. in the night, IST. So please drop in your contact numbers to the organizer and your email IDs. Okay. Any questions from anyone before we wind up? Please send your details.
Can you share course content, Arun, to our respective email?
Correct. This is a course content, and I'll send it across. Okay, 1 minute. I'll put it in the chat here. You can copy it.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Sir.
It won't come exactly the way it is in Excel, but you can just copy that content. If you need the Excel, I think I can send an attachment. I'm not sure if I can send it. I don't think so. I can't send an attachment here. Okay. So please send your details and reach out to the organizer and we can get started. Okay. Thank you. Thank you all for joining.